In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys on how to cut a bustier asymmetric corset with front and back loops. If those sound like something interested to keep on watching, and let's get started. So fold your pattern into two and determine the length of your blouse. I'm going to mark 20 inch for now. So my bust point is 9.5, my under bust is 12.5, my waistline is 15 inch, the blouse length is 20 inch for now. I'm going to mark the same thing on both sides. After making my point, I'll use my ruler to connect a straight line across like so. Once I'm done connecting a straight line, I'll go ahead and label. So I will label the first line as my bust point, second line my under bust, the third line is my waistline, the last line is my length. From the bust point line, I'm going to go up by 2 inch. I'll mark it on the other side, then make a straight line using the dot. After that, I'll label as chest line. Coming to the shoulder line, I'm going to mark half of my shoulder measurement, do the same thing on the chest line, and I will connect the 2 points to give me a straight line. I'll mark 3 inch for my neck width. I will come down by 3 inch for my neck depth, and also I'll go down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'll connect my shoulder slope to the neck width, and I will also connect my round neckline using my curve. I will also label as shoulder line. From that point, I'm going to mark the midpoint of my armhole line. I'll go in by half an inch, and I'll mark quarter of my bust circumference on the chest line. So I'll use my curve ruler to connect the three dots to give me my armhole curve, just like this. Okay. After that, you're going to divide your nipple to nipple. My nipple to nipple is 7 inch. Half of it is 3.5. So I mark the 3.5 on the chest line, bust point, under bust and waistline with the length. I went ahead to connect them in a straight line like so. So the next thing I did was to divide the 3.5 inch. I'll mark 1.5.2 inch. I'll use it to make a straight line. I will also mark it on the round neckline. Okay. Then I will connect a straight line using those dots. Can you see? Next thing I want to do is to get the mid shoulder. So I'll divide what I have left from the shoulder, and I mark the midpoint, which is 2 inch. I have 4 inch, so I mark the midpoint, which is 2 inch. Then I'll connect to the chest line like so. Now I am going to start taking my dart. So I'll start from the bustier. So I'll just go in by half an inch, and I'll go in by 1 inch on the other side. The half inch should be marked on the part going towards the center front, and on the length you are going to mark quarter of an inch on both sides. Okay, and 1 inch on the other side. So I'll just connect like so. I'll connect this other one like this. Can you see? You connect like so. So now that I'm done with this, I'll use my curve ruler to make my curve. So you're going to just connect like so to give you your curve shape, just this way. Next you want to do is to determine how high you want the neckline to be. So from the shoulder, I'll go down by 6 inch. You can equally maintain the chest line if you want it very low. So I'll just connect a straight line like so, and I'll label this as my new chest line. Now I'm going to tighten the over bust. I'm going to tighten with half inch on both sides. Then I'll connect to the bust point, just like this. You use your ruler, your straight ruler, to connect to the bust point like so. So now that I'm done with this, the next thing I want to do is to come here on the other line. I'm going to mark quarter of an inch on both sides of the waistline, do the same thing on the length. Then from the bust point, I'm going to connect just like this. Okay. After connecting, I'll use my black marker to shade that part. So this part I'm shading here will be cut out. Okay. So the next thing I want to do now is to mark quarter of my bust circumference. Then I'll replace the dart I have on the other side. On the waistline, I'll mark quarter of my waist circumference. Then I'll measure all this dart and I'll replace it back. You get? After that, I'll come down to the length. Then I'll mark quarter of my hip circumference, measure all these darts, and I'll replace them back. Alright. So take all your body measurements and replace all the darts, okay? Then use your ruler to connect all the points just like this. Connect all the points just this way. So after I was done with that, you're going to measure what you have there, divide it by 2 and mark the midpoint. So for me, I will just mark 3 inch. Okay, I'll mark 3 inch from the chest line to the length. I mark 3 inch. So I'm going to connect them in a straight line like so. Connect all the points in a straight line. So on the waistline, I'm going to take quarter of an inch on both sides. Then I'm going to connect straight down just like this. So I want to have a little bit of waist snatch effect on the blouse. So that's why I did this. So I'm going to also use my black marker to shade that part. Now I'm going to add 1.5 inch for my seam allowance on all the side. I'll use my ruler to connect all the points just like so. So now we are done with this. I'm going to cut out the excess. Cut out the excess like so. So after cutting this, I'm going to cut through the new chest line. So after cutting, I'm going to have it looking like so. The next thing you want to do is to open your front pattern paper. That's why it should be on a fold. Open your front pattern paper, then connect all those lines to the other side. Your waistline, your chest line, and the bust point under bust. Just go ahead and connect all the lines to the other side. And whatsoever you have here, you're going to repeat them on this other side. All the darts, all the bustier, all everything you did here, put the waist snatch effect. You're going to repeat them on this other side. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and do all of that, and I'll be right back to continue from where we stopped.
Won't fall when I'm picking you up. Of my hand, I will be strong enough. Our love is stronger, and I'll be here. My lead, now we're taking the jump. My pride, 'cause I know you're the one. Our love is stronger. Baby, I know that it's stronger than yesterday.
So after transferring everything I have on the other side to this other side, you can see what it looks like. So go ahead and do the same thing to yours. So the next thing I want to do now is to label here as left, and I'll label the other side as the right side of the pattern you get, and it will also serve as the right and left side of your fabric. All right. So the next thing I want to do is to make the center front line very visible. So at the center, I'm going to use my marker, black marker, to draw a straight line at the center front. So this will indicate the center line and to make it very visible. All right. So after I was done with that, you can see what I have here. Can you see? So this is the right side. I'm going to start from the right side. So from the new chest line, I came down by 1 inch. Obviously, the 1 inch was at the old chest line. So I'm going to make a curve from that point to right after the center line. Okay. So you're going to connect from this point to right after the center line. Do you get? So watch what I'm doing here. This is me making my curve. Just curve it a little bit, then use your stretch ruler to connect to that point slanted. Can you see? From that point, stop at after the center front. So when doing this, close up your dart. All right. So when you close up your dart, you're going to connect them very well. Connect like so. All right. So now that I'm done with this, next thing I want to do is to come down on the waistline. I'm going to go down from the waistline by 1 inch. Okay. Then on that the same point where you stopped the other one at the upper part, you're going to go up by 1 inch, then go ahead and connect. So while I was doing this, I said to just end it just at this point. That means ½ inch distance from the from that point. Then close up your dart and reconnect that line. You're going to make this line very slanted, just like I did. All right. from the waistline, come down by 1 inch, okay, and close up your dart while connecting this, or while making your slant line. Close up your dart, then go ahead and connect to that same point. Like I said, go up by 1 inch or half an inch from that point. So I marked 1 inch before, I later marked the half an inch, and I connected from the waistline to that exact point. So this is the shorter part of the asymmetric curve. So the next thing I want to do is from that same point on the upper part, I'm going to go down by 1.5 inch. Okay, and on this side of the armhole, I'm going to connect from that point to this side. So this is our old chest line. You're going to make your curve, connect from that point to this other point where you came down by 1.5 inch. Okay, and close up your dart. While doing this, don't forget to close up your dart. So go ahead and connect them like so. Then also extend it to this part. Okay, you extend it to the other side. So that is how you are going to be cutting it out. So on the waistline, I came down by 4 inch, and I'm going to go down by 3 inch on this other side. Okay, then I'm going to extend that leg of that point. Then I will connect from the 3 inch to the 4 inch I marked in a slant manner, just like this. So the left side will be the longer part of this dress, and the right side will be the shorter part of this dress. Do you get what I'm saying? So the next thing I want to do now is to cut it out. All right, so just watch what I'm doing here. Watch how I'm cutting this out. Okay, because it will be on a pieces, so don't be confused. If you're going to be confused, just label it before cutting it out. Okay, but for me, I said to cut out first before I went ahead to label. Just watch what I'm doing here. So before you make all the curve, you're going to choose the part you want to be long and the part you want it to be short. Okay, it's either the right side or the left side. So that's why I labeled the right side and the left side. So the right side is the part that will be short, and the left side will be the part that is going to be long. Do you get what I'm saying? If you don't understand this, please kindly rewatch. Okay, so you understand better. I mistakenly cut the allowance. You know, I added 1.5 inch allowance. So I mistakenly cut it out. But I'm going to be joining it back again with my masking tape. So don't do this mistake by cutting it out. I didn't even know when I cut it out. So after cutting this other side, this is just two piece. It's two pattern, not three. I said I mistakenly cut the 1 inch, 1.5 inch allowance I added earlier. So I will just join them back using my masking tape. So don't make that mistake. It's just one piece that is there. So I'll just go ahead and cut these other ones out. Okay. So if you have watched to this point, please kindly hit on the subscribe button. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you'll always be notified anytime I upload interesting videos. Okay. So now I've gone ahead to cut out all my patterns. Can you see? And this is me arranging them in a place. All right. So now that I'm done cutting, the next thing I want to do is to first label them. I'm going to label this pattern. So this is my center front 1, this is my side front 2, this is side front 3, this is side front 4. So remember I said this is allowance, and I didn't even know when I labeled as side front 5. So I'll just join them together and I'll cancel it later. So let me just label as allowance so I'll remember later. Okay, so I'm going to label the same thing on this other side. This is side front 2, side front 3, and side front 4. So after labeling, guys, this is what I have. So now I'm going to use my masking tape to join the allowance back to the other side, just like this. Okay, I'm going to join it back to give me my one piece, because that is what it is. So after joining, you can see what I have here. So now I am going to arrange this pattern. This is the front. I'm going to arrange the front like so. So while arranging this, I hope you can catch up with what I'm doing here. Like, I hope you can just catch up on how it came out to look like. So I use my black marker to cancel the side front 5 I have on the allowance, and this part I'm cancelling will serve as the part I'm going to be removing later. Okay, so I can have the loops on both side of the front. So now I am going to just go ahead and make all these small circles, just label small circles here. Okay, so after making my small circles, guys, you can see what I have here. So that is where the loops will be at the front. Do you get? So I'm going to keep this and I'll work on the back pattern. So for the back, I've already drafted all my basic lines. Like I've already marked all my basic lines, the shoulder and the armhole. So on the chest line, I am going to mark quarter of my bust circumference plus 1.5 inch for allowance. On the waistline, I'll mark quarter of my waist circumference plus 1 inch for my dart and 1.5 inch for my allowance. On the length, I'll mark quarter of my hip circumference plus 1.5 inch for the seam allowance. Okay, and I will connect like so. From my chest line, I came down by 1 inch, so I'll just connect like so because I want my back depth to, I want it a little bit deep, not too deep, but just a little bit. So that's why I did this. If you don't want yours like so, you can just maintain the new chest line, maintain the chest line as your neck depth. Do you get? So the next thing I did was to mark half of my nipple to nipple, and I connected like so. And on the waistline, I marked 1/2 inch on both sides, and that will serve as my normal dart intake. And I'm going to connect from the chest line to the waistline. Okay, just like this. So from the length, I'm going to mark quarter of my hip circumference. Then I'll replace the dart I have there and added back to 1.5 inch and also connect like so. From the waistline to the dart leg, I am going to divide what I have there. You measure it first, then you mark the midpoint, connect from that chest line to the length, and I'm going to subtract quarter of an inch on both sides of the waistline. I already told you guys that this will serve as my waist cinching, or you call it the waist snatch. So after connecting, I already extended the neck depth to the other side just this way. So the next thing I did was to measure what I have from the armhole to the waistline, and I'm going to mark it on this other side. Then I'll extend the waistline to that point. Okay, you're going to extend the waistline to that point, and I'll label as my waistline. Do the same thing on the other side as well, and also extend the length to the other side, and I also label as length as well. Okay, so now that I'm done with this, you're going to also label the left side and the right side. Do you get? So this left, I supposed to put C here, but I just left it like that. So I'm going to make the center back very visible. The center back line, I'll make it very visible. So this is the center front pattern. I'm going to place it exactly at the center line and also on the waistline. Okay, so I'm going to first place all the longer part of the front pattern. I'll place them on the left side. Okay, so this was the one I said I will be taking out. I'm also going to place it there to complete my measurement. That's why. So I'll just place it there and I'll pin. You're going to place all this to the waistline of the back. Okay, make sure all the waistline aligns very properly like so, and don't forget to close up your dart. Okay, do not leave anyone open. Okay, place the waistline of your front pattern to the waistline of your back pattern like so. Use your pin to secure all the patterns in place just like this. Can you see all of them is placed on the waistline? Make sure they are all aligned very properly. So you're going to place the other one, that is the shorter part. You place it on the right side of the pattern. So when placing, ensure you close up your dart. You can see I don't have any space while placing this. There is no space actually. I don't have any space. Okay, so after placing, you're going to have it looking like this. And this is the 1.5 inch for my seam allowance. Okay, I have my seam allowance. You get? So the next thing you want to do now is to extend your center back line, extend it like so, then make your slant. Okay, slant from that point to this other side. Okay, that means you traced the down part, and on this side you're going to go down by 3 inch, just like we did on the front pattern. Go down by 3 inch, then connect from this side to that point, just like we have here at the center back. Okay, so when doing this, ensure you place the left side of your front pattern to the left side of your back pattern, so that after cutting you will have them equal and you have it exactly the same thing, just like we have in the picture. Okay, so go ahead and extend like so. After doing this, next you want to do is to cut it out. All right, so instead of you drafting again and again, making those curves, is best for you to place all your front pattern to the back pattern, so that this will be very easy for you when cutting it out. Okay, so you don't make any mistakes while doing it. I think this is the best, like, and one of the easiest methods to achieve the back of any form of dress. Do you get? So now we are going to turn it like so, like you fold it back again, extend the darts and cut them out. Okay, extend the darts, cut them out. Do the same thing for the waist cinching dart and also cut it out. Okay, after cutting all your darts, go ahead and label as center back and side back 3. Also give arrows, that is the directions on how to join them. Do the same thing on this other side. Then after doing this, I'm going to cut through the neckline. So now that I'm done cutting, I'm going to mark about 1.5 inch, so I can have the lacing bar for the back. So from the center back, you're going to go in by 1.5 inch. Okay, so that after cutting, when you open it, you have about 2 inch already removed. Okay, so go ahead and cut it out. After marking your 1.5 inch, go ahead and cut it out. You can also mark 2 inch if you want. So that is where my loops will be sitting for the back. You get? So after I was done drawing the circle, I took light and I came outside. I had to place my pattern on the ground to continue from where we stopped. So this is the side back 2, side back 3, and center back 1. So I want to arrange those pieces together, so I can trim off the excess I have at the bottom part, because I forgot to close up the dart before cutting all this out. So I'll just go ahead and do it like so. You trim out the excess you have on the back. Okay, so in case you want to sew this dress, because I don't have the sewing tutorial, I won't be making the sewing tutorial, but if you want to sew this, I'm going to show you guys on how to join them, okay, to make it a piece. So this center back and side back 2 and side back 3, we are going to join them together. Okay, after transferring to the actual fabric, cutting everything out and also ironing your hairstay and everything, you're going to join this back. We have 3 here, 3 back pattern. After joining, you will have your one piece. So this other side, I have the side front 3 and side front 4. You're going to join it together as well and stitch the both side together. Okay, you're going to be joining all those pieces, then stitch side by side. Stitch only the longer part of the back pattern and the longer part of the front pattern, stitch them together. And this is the back, this is the front side of the short pattern and the back side of the short pattern. So stitch them. After stitching the 3 and 4 pieces of the back, go ahead and join side by side. You get? We have come to the end of today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next one.